Okay, so we're opening up Black IP style, just to be clear, based on that.
Well, I only discovered the other day that apparently for some Sims expansion for the PlayStation, Black Eyed Peas recorded two of their songs, including "Let's Get It Started" in Simlish. The
That's
actual band,
amazing.
the actual
Horrifying.
band, they recorded. They're on YouTube. The versions of it, yeah.
Incredible. Audience, welcome back to another high impact introduction for Warhammer 40K Imperium Maledictum Titanslair Season 2 Episode 4. You missed a Grimdark James 74-month resub. So
I didn't want to break up your high energy intro with my
I
sub. So
appreciate that, but
yeah,
we got it working. We made it happen.
yeah.
There's some sort of problem where James's camera is now slightly off. I'm just gonna go ahead and solve that problem using the power of science. There we go. We'll have to fiddle with it later. I can't be distracted during the high energy impact introduction. Friends, we start by seeing a 16-foot tall, ultra buff man. The most well-muscled man that you've ever seen. Absolutely disproportionately muscled, wearing golden armor. No arm armor, just absolutely jacked muscles. Their head is an anthropomorphized lion head with dreadlocks going down the back, all made out of golden fur. And they are holding a power sword that seems to be made entirely out of energy. And they are looking at a slightly smaller, still super buff, kind of evil-looking human with like twisted demonic wings, smoke coming out of its mouth, flames on its back, and the demon like summons a blade of fire, and the two of them clash for a moment, and the lion says, "Impressive, most impressive, brah." And the human that he's engaging, or whatever it is, says, "I've picked up a few tricks. My new masters have taught me much." And the lion-headed warrior says, "Then there's something I must reveal then. Do not let yourself be destroyed. You must resist. Join me, and by my side, rule the galaxy together, man." And the shadowy demon warrior says, "Never. I'll never rule by your side. You are a foul traitor. A traitor to the warp." "No, I am no traitor to the warp. I am Jafada." And the demon goes, "No!" And then we pull back from this picked recording, and we can see that this is some sort of like stage play that's being put on by Harlequins, which appears to be like a Rastafarian version of, the battle between Horus and the Emperor. We're in Inquisition class, and the Inquisitor is like,
That's my new headline, by the way, because all the audiobooks, Eldar have French accents and Dark Eldar have Russian accents. Now, for me, Harlequins have Jamaican accents.
perfect. I mean, Kigorak sends his regards. Got it. You can hire me to write for you anytime, Warhammer 40K Games Workshop. I will make literally anything canon. Okay. The Inquisitor says, nominally, your presence here is for training in how to hide yourself as a rogue traitor. This is one of the most popular disguises for an Inquisitor, and yet it is seen through so often. But as long as we are running a school for potential Inquisitors, we should not neglect your regular inquisitorial training. Each of you will provide a 5-page front and back 10-point font Times New Roman essay on all of the heretical points that were in the video you just observed. I will not play it a second time. You will need to use your photographic memories Your arguments must be presented. And then it just like trails off and fades away as we come to Velamris, Holly, and Rassie. You are resting in the like trading house slash marketplace slash warehouse slash small landing pad for your Valkyrie dropship. And you could see you've had a few minutes here for everybody to recollect yourself after meeting with, I don't want to get this guy's name wrong, Administrator Brelto Cogsworthy. You met with a mysterious figure wearing black armor. You have a collective message, which appears to be an invitation from someone calling themselves Margreave and Skara of House Vandensarg, inviting you to a feast upon the midnight of the next solar cycle in honor of Sir Johanniter Vavore's attendance to the Liege's summons. Dress code is festive attire, black tie optional. I'm now going to use Discord to send each of you a secret message for something that your character has personally received in a communication.
Are we about to play werewolf again?
No, I'm never playing werewolf with you again, James. And it's possible I may never play it with Omar either.
I deserve that.
Poor Glimo was absolutely put on an altar and sacrificed.
That he was.
All right, and then the message for Velamris, I've sent them out. You can share as much or as little about this message as you would like with your comrades.
God damn it. At least there's some very important parentheses in there.
Are we receiving these messages like
Personal communications that are being sent to your local communications address in the trading house. However, Velamris, yours was sent to the front door as described.
Yes.
This was not an electronic message.
Yes. And I imagine as we are reconvening, I'm just standing there holding this piece of paper, perplexed. And not because I don't know how to read, because obviously I know how to read, but like just looking at this going, what?
What's the problem?
I have been reached out to by some sort of labor union asking for our help in negotiations. And I'll set the paper like on a table or something that I imagine is between us, you know, so that others can see it if they choose to.
I will read his paper. Send me his message.
Poorly handwritten and addressed directly to Velamris. It says, on behalf of the beleaguered citizens of dislocal lands, asking kindly that you help sort out labor negotiations. I imagine there's a quasi-Jamaican accent in there somewhere.
Nope. What's the
It's
London
handwritten, so
East Ender accent? Is it Cockney?
Oh, okay.
Cockney, yeah.
There you go. Okay. But I mean, it's written, so it's hard to read accents and
All right,
and
so
handwriting.
when you went to talk to the little kid at the door, he said, "What's all this, then?"
Is the message boy still around, or is he?
Oh, he
divvied
left
off to somewhere?
immediately. Did you give him a
Okay.
tip?
I imagine I would have if he
Okay.
if he had given it to me directly. Yeah,
Yes.
I would have.
Okay.
You can tell because the letter ends with "Come on, bruv."
Come on, bro.
Well, no, I mean, if he was going to leave it at the front door for me to find later.
No, he
Then he
knocked on the
would've got
door
it.
and handed it to you directly.
Oh yeah, in that case, yeah, I definitely would have given him
Okay.
some sort of coin or something.
Do they
Yeah.
want you now? Or they want someone now?
Well, I mean, there's labor negotiations, so I imagine there's some sort of a timeline, but nothing specified on here. I guess at our leisure. I feel like we have slightly more important problems that we may at least need to address, such as, I don't know, orcs on the sides of the ships?
I mean, we're a trading team. We're here for trade and commerce. Like orcs is probably that sounds a bit like a somebody else's problem type situation.
That'd be something Holly would say. Sorry.
I also have an invitation, which is time oriented. And when's this gathering we've been invited to as well is what, the following night? Is that right? The midnight of the next solar cycle would be like next day. Okay. What about you, Rassie? Have you received any sort of communications?
What is this? Is my message in High Gothic?
It is, but I believe you know enough to read.
I can read it. Yeah, I put my ranks in it.
It's not just in High Gothic, it's in some really archaically fancy flowing script.
Yeah, this is a really, really fancy letter.
You know what? It's written in cursive.
Oh, yes.
We're all old enough to be able to read that, though.
How to summon a lemon.
Before I can respond, I have to send a quick question.
Very well.
Try to go back through my notes to see.
No, you have not heard of
stupid.
House Rex before, and you spelled Vandensarg wrong. I will send Vandensarg in chat.
See, for some
So
reason, I was thinking there
I've
was an
received a
extra A
request.
in there.
I received a request from a consortium asking to have a business meeting about business, pretty much. But they implied that there were advantages in a timely attendance.
I'm not sure what the protocols are going to be for my invitation, so I'm not sure if I'm allowed to discuss this one. But it will be in 2 chrono segments from now.
Can you work out how long that is?
So like,
Chrono
yeah, I was gonna
segment is
say-
8 hours.
Okay, so 8 hours. So 16 hours from now.
So 16 hours from now.
So it sounds like if each received an invite, we could certainly keep them on their toes by each taking somebody else's invitation.
Oh, man.
It does look like I'm going to have to go back to my footlocker to some of the clothes that I had made up from my brief stint as Imperial Commander.
Well, I mean, we've also got an invite tomorrow for an event which is black tie optional or festive attire. I suppose which festival is up for debate.
Yeah, I think when you say festive attire, Velamris is like Sanguinalia themed, because that's the only festival he could think of.
It's like what parents in the 70s would say, our son's not gay, he's just festive.
Oh my god! Oh, I'm just picturing bell
There's
bottoms.
no gays in Ireland, Kathleen. He's just a dancing man. He's a dancing man, Kathleen. Listen, if you have no idea what I just said, just Google the phrase. You're going to do yourself a favor.
I feel like I've heard it before. I just can't place it.
It's Michael, his name, isn't it?
Elton John! Elton John's not gay. He's a singing man.
Oh my gosh.
I think I might. I think I need to see a tailor.
Yeah, I don't think Velamris really has much in the way of super dressy things. He can certainly clean up all right, but he just doesn't have like black tie sort of gear. But he's got a bunch of cash, so it shouldn't be too hard to find something appropriate.
Ah, yes. On the notoriously trendy moon Alpha Primus, with no local source of fibers in any way, shape, or form.
We work for a rogue trader, and the rogue trader rules simply say money is not a thing. If you have enough profit factor, you can have a thing.
Sure. Are
Well,
you a rogue trader, or are you
No,
a
but we
person who
work
has
for a
money?
rogue trader.
I'm also
Rogue
thinking
traders
that
can't make clothing appear. Just to be very clear, it
Hold
takes
up,
a Nero.
This is from the guy that constantly had print shops in the bowels of the Hand
We
of
established
Calixtus.
that was canon.
And the thing is, the rogue traders just say, "Go and get me some clothes." We're the people that actually go and when he waves his hand, you know, and just
We're the ones that make it appear.
We are the mechanism by which profit factor is expended.
I am hoping that since there are a number of noble houses here right now, that maybe those supply lines were brought with them so they could maintain their decorum.
Yes, just to be clear, we are playing through one profit factor roll for the rogue trader. That's his whole campaign. Is the rogue trader made one profit factor roll?
This was one acquisition roll.
What actually happened in the back end. So.
Holding destroyed, tossed into the warp. I mean, the whole of season 1 was definitely a failed, holding roll or whatever it was called, the once every quarter, for sure.
Oh,
sure.
Are you talking about the acquisition roll?
Yeah, no, not acquisition, to upkeep.
A colony roll.
Yeah, it was a colony roll that absolutely crucially failed, and the colony was taken into the warp. Yeah. But fortunately, he was able to salvage resources from it for pure profit factor, so he might have lost the income and the holding, but now he's got leftovers.
Yeah.
All right.
Also, problem orc.
Since it seems that Rassie wants to keep his thing to himself, other than you and I swapping Velamris, and it sounds like the people you're dealing with are idiots.
When you say swapping, I imagine because they use the word negotiations very specifically, I'm going to be your muscle and you're going to be the one that does the talking.
Well, look, I think that both your engagement and my engagement are both of a negotiative nature.
Watch, I bet. Sorry, James, I don't mean to keep interrupting you. Go ahead.
But it seems like you're dealing with idiots, so it's probably more your speed. And I'll go talk to this trade consortium.
I've never envisioned Velamris being quite the smartass that I am, but what are the odds that Velamris and Holly are going to end up at the same table, opposite sides?
What? So just while you guys are talking and Rassie has decided not to reveal, like, behind them while they're talking, Rassie has taken on that same demeanor and facial expression as when we walked out of that 5-minute call and he became the Imperial Governor, and it just the dread.
I can't help but wonder, like, at some point Velamris finally looks over at you and he's just gonna be like, wait a minute, I know that look. I was there when you had that look. I had that look on my face. What, Rassie, what did you do?
I continue to serve faithfully.
Would Velamris know what a commissar is?
I mean, you've met commissars.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, so I think Velamris is like, should we expect a commissar knocking on the front door? What did you do?
I don't know. All I know is that if I don't go, I think it will reflect badly on the trading house. And if I do go, as I'm going to, I will need to be very careful to not reflect badly on the trading house.
I'm going to look over to Holly, and I'm going to look back to Rassie, and I'm going to look to my note, which is wherever it is right now. And I'm just going to be like, hold on. Have we done enough in the time that we've been in this system to generate 3 separate invites?
I mean, we've attended. We've come here in the name of a rogue trader that people will want to do business with. and we've caught ourselves out as the conduit for doing business with him. So I think that our notoriety is not unexpected.
I'm just wondering if perhaps there's a trap or a plot somewhere behind everything.
There's always a trap or a plot. It depends whether it's
Yes,
physical,
that's kind of my
social,
point.
or business. But it doesn't mean we can't. It doesn't mean we shouldn't also pursue our interests here
Very well.
voraciously.
There we go. Advancement. Because I'm about to spend all my XP.
Ooh, speaking of which, how much XP do I have at the moment? I don't think I have a lot. I have 30. That's not going to be much.
Let's see. I mean, yeah. Given what's written in here specifically, his armor is Mastercraft. It is very, very nice Tempestus Carapace. So he could just doll up his armor for a formal occasion.
Listen, now let me be perfectly clear, okay? Let me be perfectly clear. Uniform, never gonna go out of style. What you are wearing is not a uniform. What you are wearing is combat armor. And not just regular combat armor, heavy combat armor. I don't care how mastercrafted it is, sitting down to a cigar club in plate mail is never going to be appropriate.
Yeah, yeah, he's gonna go in a dress uniform.
Okay, that's a very reasonable choice of you.
Yeah,
I was just googling.
I think Velamris.
Festive dress code. Festive dress code looks like it's formal attire, but in bright colors and bright fabrics.
That is correct.
So yeah, like you're wearing a suit, but it's like purple velour rather than like a black suit.
But okay, to be clear, Rassie is getting dressed up for not just the midnight event, but also his meeting. Is that correct?
he's putting together what he's wearing to something he's doing in 16 hours right now. That is where his brain is.
Gotcha. Okay.
And his brain is a small and tidy one, so he is not thinking about festive wear right now.
Yeah. In that case, Velamris is definitely going to look over to Rassie and be like, "Do you need an extra hand on this task?"
I don't believe that I will be allowed to bring guests. Yeah, I wasn't specifically allowed to, and assuming and being wrong, I think would be worse than trying not to speak much.
Very well. And Sister Holly, you are going to handle your engagement on your own. Do you wish my company as muscle or other?
No, I think this is. I don't sense any threat in what I've been asked for.
Then I'm going to load for bear and head off to go see these labor union people. And by load for bear, I mean I have my sniper rifle disassembled in a briefcase.
What are you wearing?
My normal kit, armor, robes, chameleon-lined cloak, but not in such a way to obscure myself yet. Maybe as a sash or something. A la, Northwind Highlander. I shouldn't say. I don't mean Northwind. I meant Scotland Highlanders.
Turns up and just death from above straight away.
What's that?
First person he sees death from above.
Solaris Knights, first Gleamo episode, death from above, headshot, knock him off a cliff, kill him on the way down.
Land on top of him.
Perfect finale. Entire career goes downhill from there until he gets beaten by a hover tank half his weight.
It was really sad.
Well, no, I'm just picturing the chameleon-like cloak like I'm wearing it as like some sort of sash or something that if I need it, I can quickly pull it out and just drape myself in it.
So the question is, do we want to follow Holly if Holly's leaving immediately, or Velamris, who is leaving immediately?
I'm cool with Holly's first if you want to, James.
I don't mind.
What are you wearing to the consortium club, Holly?
I think for the consortium club, just what I normally wear.
Very well.
Yeah, if there's time before the event the next night, I'll probably go and try and find something more black tie for that. Because I don't like wearing my uniform anymore as such. So, but I think that the clothing I've got right now is sort of like it's trader chic.
Trader
This is
chic, not
Holly's
habit.
hot girl summer, right? That's what we're.
The hot girl.
Yeah,
Holly
but
Chibi.
for tomorrow night, she's thinking more like Met Gala, So
Yes, I understand. You arrive outside an unmarked warehouse where there's just like a single guard. No obvious weaponry. He speaks into a hand mic, checking your identity. He pulls back like part of his hood so that his eye augment can scan you. His augmetics come back and say, Miss Van der Velt, and then he opens the door for you. From the inside, you can see that there's like a slight, like smoke is being let out when he opens the door, and it looks like a combination of a billiards parlor and like a hookah lounge when you enter. You can see that there is just 3 people seated around a poker table, and one of the men there says, "Oh, is that Holly I see there? Allow me to introduce myself. I am Sir Roswald Short-Hothingsworth, KBEEFHI, Seasoning Guilds of Redham. Great to see you, madam. Great to see you." He comes forward and starts shaking your hand.
how thick is the smoke in here?
I think it's hazy, not very thick,
Okay.
just enough that you can like kind of see a little gray-ish at the edges, like just barely visible.
Okay, all right, but like it's not like hurting on the lungs, that sort of stuff. It's just
No,
okay.
this place isn't on fire.
pleasant
They're just smoking stuff in here.
Okay, no worries. You already know my name. Which is there a sobriquet or a shorter version of your name I should address you by?
Oh,
Mr.
Roswald is more than
Roswald?
good enough for me.
Very good.
He
We
leads
wanted
you
to
over to the
discuss
poker table.
business. Yeah.
Oh, business, of course, business. That's all we discuss around here is business. You can see one of the players is like a laid back, sort of very pale man with curly red hair that goes down past his shoulders. He's like tall, thin, gaunt, vaguely Irish looking. He says, Sir Roswald, I see you've brought her. I am Lionel Chutney Bree. Pleasure to make your acquaintance. I
Of the
understand
West
that you're a
McCarran Trading
contact for
Company?
the rogue trader?
That's correct. Yes.
Yes. I'm with Development Integrated. We are cargo recovery specialists.
West McCarran Trading Company. Yes.
No, and he gestures to the woman seated next to him.
Oh no, that's sorry.
She gets out of the
director.
chair and curtsies.
and master,
And then shakes your hand and says, Director Chelsea Maria Alexandria Elzabia, West McCarran Trading Company.
Is that West McCarran sector or West McCarran?
West McCarran sector. We're very
don't know.
interested in doing business with your rogue trader.
Well, our rogue trader is interested in forming all sorts of business contacts within the sector.
Well, shall we sit then?
Yes, let's.
The 3 of them seem like they are pretending like they're still playing the game. They're not dealing you in, they're just checking their cards occasionally and are welcoming you into the discussion. Just to give you a sort of background on your vibes, I would like some sort of intuition roll or like business roll to determine what their statuses are here.
Would you take intuition people?
I would take intuition people, absolutely. That would be the correct skill.
All right. Well, let's first roll the game. Let's start with a fate point, shall we?
Shall we? Of course.
It is tradition.
Okay, on a +4, I'm about to give you some big information.
Okay.
All right, Lionel Chutney Bree is from the vibes you're picking up. This person is a pirate, like a actual literal pirate, and so From a short series of discussions that you're having, you determine that he is the second son of the daughter of the rogue trader's paternal uncle for rogue trader Kaisela Chutney Brie. So development integrated appears to be the sort of like the import export laundering company that when the rogue trader pirates things, this is how it gets sold. And they mostly do business by selling people their own stuff back. And Lionel Chutney Brie is the representative on this moon for this system for House Chutney Brie. Roswald Short Haltsworthington is a member of the Seasoning Guild, which appears to provide human capital in the form of slaves and food. And director Chelsea Maria Alexandria Elizabeth provides dihydrogen monoxide, which is water. And she is practically vibing in her chair, trying to talk to you. She's loosely implying that she wants to talk about the gray trade. She absolutely wants those alien corpses and alien technology from beyond the edge that she can't actually talk about in a room full of other people, but she's definitely dropping some hints. That is what you get from several minutes of conversation with all of these people. Now, I could have done that in RP, but I didn't want to have to roleplay 3 different British people having a conversation without you for 5 minutes.
Have you ever seen the Aperture Science water bottles, the dihydrogen monoxide containment units?
No, I haven't, but that's...
Yeah, and they say, I think, caution, exposure may cause micturition, diaphoresis, or acute tissue hydration. So sweating, peeing, or being hydrated.
Yes. I do like being hydrated. So you tell me what you want to do with these people. The answer could just be nothing. Now that you've gotten an idea of what they're representing, this
so the first thing I want to know is what do they want to know from, like, what do they want me for? Like, what are they expecting? What are they expecting?
I think they are trying to get a vibe on you and figure out what you're here to sell and or buy.
Okay. So I think my goal for this meeting then is to impress them. Is to, like, I wanted that whole thing where anytime someone turns to, like, what product or what deal can we do right now, it's like, let's focus on the introductions and just learning more about each other right now, and shut that down into just more sort of building a social context. But I want them to basically, leave this room chomping at the bit for more business opportunities with this rogue trader house.
I think this has happened to me when I got pulled into a timeshare. Yeah, I think this is definitely a role of some kind.
I should definitely start with my meet you for the first time talent, my Air of Authority, I think.
Okay.
Yes, Air of Authority first. So I'll make a presence or rapport test in order to get the...
We're going to do all the beans, because they each represent a different group, but I don't want to keep making it over and over again.
All right, no worries. So I will do it with presence. Or fate this one. Is it worth fate this to get an extra one? No, I think I won't fate this one. I'll just roll this naturally. So presence. Okay, so that gives me the +1 on the subsequent roll. So would you take leadership potentially to try and influence them in this way, or would it be more of a... Because leadership is based on... Oh, that's based on rapport, actually. Haggle for... sorry, that's based on presence. Would you take haggle for rapport, potentially?
I could take haggle.
Haggle, okay. And I think I have deal maker.
Ironic, because you're trying to do the opposite of haggling.
Well, I mean...
You're like, let's not... Hold on, let's not make a deal.
Okay,
not
so
yet.
Let me unlock one of the secrets of sales for you guys. Okay, so every interaction is a sale. All right. Now, when I ring up a customer and say, "Hey, can I come by and see you tomorrow and chat about some stuff?" That call is a sale, because what I'm asking them to spend is their time. and the product I want them to buy is a conversation with me. Now, I haven't bought an actual product from me yet, but certainly the interaction to get the meeting the following day is in itself a sale.
You know where I've heard this before?
James is building an emotional debt.
Where I've heard this before 20 years ago when I was a United States Army recruiter.
Yeah.
Recruiter is just a fancy term for salesman. Don't let them lie to you.
It's always the next. It's just, how do I get to the next part? Like, I don't always be closing is bad sales. It's like, I just need to sell the product today. Like, you go into a used car dealership, the first thing they say is, what can I do to make you take this car today? You know, that's the sales people don't like. It's all about getting to the next step in the sales process. And this is just the first step in the sales process. I don't want to sell a product today. They don't have a product to sell today. All right. So I will also...
You didn't even have to pay to get this Grimdark James DIY.
This is DLC. This is a Grimdark James DLC.
You paid with your time when you stopped to watch this show.
He looked it back around. He taught me 2 lessons.
All right, so I can also make intuition people in order to learn a bit more about what these people might take as far as bribes or
okay.
It's a separate skill, so I'm going to roll this intuition people. I'm not using fate this time. Okay, I don't know about what they will take for bribes, but I'll just go ahead and do my haggle test with a fate to try and make friends.
Holly is she's got the entirety of make friends and influence people written on her hand in just like microfiche, and she's consulting it. Well, that advantage to turn a 71 to a 17 certainly worked out for you.
Holly does prefer the companion book How to Lose Friends and Alienate People, but which is an actual book, by the way.
How to Alienate Aliens. Okay, so a 17 is a +4 success. These people are absolutely on the hook. You are an excellent salesperson. They each want to have private meetings with you. They're clamoring for your attention between the 3 of them. It's not just that they don't normally have anything to do here, and this is the most exciting thing that's happened. They legitimately want to spend more personal time with you to accomplish some sort of trade. It looks like they're all hedging on getting business with your rogue traders somehow.
I guess the thing that I want to get from them first off, and I don't know this now, this could be something we can do outside or whatever, but I want to know what things they themselves want to acquire, because I've already got a target to sell the infomongers to, which is going back to the court where all the people trade information. But I need to know what I need to acquire from that interaction in order to feed one of these guys' interactions to keep the chain going of trying to build value out of each transaction.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm trying to set up my swap chain as far in advance as I can.
We cut to Velamris.
Sure.
Velamris,
I'm bringing Luther with me too, by the way.
Oh, you're bringing Luther with you?
Unless somebody opposes that idea.
Which one?
Me bringing Luther?
Well, Luther brings Giefanovius with him.
Shit. Okay.
So you arrive in the mines. You have Luther, who is dressed in like secondhand kind of raggedy clothing. He absolutely fits in with the downtrodden miners here, who are truly broken men who are manually hand mining with like pickaxes.
I do have a question.
Yes.
To get to my meeting, will I need a body with electus?
No, that this isn't that kind of. It's a comfort moon rather than a administratum torture moon.
Okay.
So now we know the true purpose of this planet.
I just said it wasn't that.
Moons.
You don't believe the game master when he flat out tells you something? Man,
No,
you've been suspicious all day. You were like, this seems like a plan to split us all up. And I'm like, it is a plan to split you all up. Not like an evil plan. It's like a me plan, though. Giefanovius,
I got Luther.
definitely draws some looks, right? I mean, he comes in, he's wearing red robes, hood down, no augmetics, but, you know, he draws attention as a potential future priest of Rome, or Mars. Sorry, we were playing Crusader Kicks. You know what they say, Mars is everywhere your heart is.
That's certainly a way to look at it.
You enter, and people don't seem to recognize who you are. But the fact that you have like 2 flunkies with you and you're carrying a briefcase, people get out of your way. You find yourself in like the area where people stop to like get caffeine put back into them, like a 5-minute break room. And hats are being put over top of picked captures. Like a security guard who's there is just like sees you coming, and then like several of the miners nearby are like taking heavy objects and slamming them into the hands, and the security guard's like, looks like it's time to take my break. And he just walks out the entrance to the mines to go take a smoke. And the miners are just like huddling around you, Velamris, and they're like, are you him? Are you the administratum member, Velamris Quineel?
I want to imagine I have a pistol on my thigh, but I have my second pistol like under I can't even think of the damn thing I'm trying to call it. Under the shoulder holster. And of course I have my power sword hanging. And then I've got Luther, who I've passed my briefcase to keep my hands free. And also to yell things like briefcase in case I need it. I got you. And then Gino Dolpheus, whatever his name is. Yeah, that guy. I've just got him kind of hanging. Like I want him, like I've probably briefed him at some point and just told him to, like, just hang back or not so much, in front with us, but stick close. And so when these guys come up, like, are you the one? And I'm like, that depends. What is it that you wish Administratum assistance with?
All right, so they all, like, 4 different men begin all talking at once.
No, one at a time, please. I can only listen to one of you at a time. One
of them calms the rest of them down. This man has like a really dirty beard that hasn't been shaved for like several days. He's got dark circles under his eyes. His skin is incredibly pale from like non-sun exposure. Like just absolutely looks like somebody's grandfather, but maybe he's only like 30 or 40. It's hard to tell with all of the like injuries, like nicks and
the
cuts.
Dirt and the hard labor. Yeah.
He goes, so sorry to disturb you, sir. It's just our contractual obligations aren't being fulfilled. You see, we're proud, happy to work for the Imperium 16 hours a day, 6 days a week. It's just that we aren't being allowed to take medical leave. We're supposed to be able to get off just in case anybody gets injured or hurt, just to recuperate. And he gestures over to where people are like with one leg, like being forced to mine, like one leg on a crutch, just hammering away with a real pickaxe, not even like a jackhammer or explosives or anything automated, just manual labor in a mine.
Do you not have a person to whom you can file these reports?
We've filed
issues?
So many requests, and they always come back and tell us we need addendums, that we need to fill it out in triplicate, that we haven't invoked the correct paperwork codes. It's we're not scribes, great Lord Velamris. We're just...
I am no lord, please. Let's keep that title to those that need it.
Everyone's like, oh, he's so humble.
The exact opposite. Meanwhile, he's just trying to be like, no, don't call me something I'm not. Okay, so you have no representation. You have a contract that is not being upheld. Can I get a copy of your contract?
Yeah, I think they have a copy.
And I want to be clear, when he says your contract, he's referring to the contract that he assumes everybody is bound to. Because I don't want it, like, I don't want this guy's contract. I want the contract everybody is.
Yeah, they hand you a boilerplate contract.
And then he says, is there any allowances for differences between individual people, or do you all sign the same contract?
Oh, we all sign the same thing, sir.
Okay. So I'm going to look through the contract. I want to give it a quick read. Now with Data Delver, I can read twice as fast, but I imagine this is like several pages, and I don't want to spend more than a few moments looking through it.
It is, as you're reading it, it's clear that it has been written obtusely on purpose.
Yeah. Who are the signing officials? Not specifically the people, but like what agencies are represented? Obviously, there's the miners, either individually or collectively, and then there's somebody that they report to.
Yeah, so the miners have signed this contract with House Rex, and their like arbitrator is Administrator Brelto Cogsworthy.
Of course, it's fucking Cogsworthy. Velamris loves this guy.
Yeah, we
I
just
think
promised to help him do exactly what you're there to solve.
I will need a logic evaluation roll.
Logic. And because it's my first roll and it's still the first third, fate points are free. No, they're not, but
What?
I'm going to use one to get advantage.
What?
+1 success.
Okay.
Do I see anything crazy in here?
Yeah,
I
it's
imagine I
something,
see something.
it has been written in such a way that it would be difficult for someone who didn't have administratum training, like literal years of bureaucratic training, to like walk through how to properly fill out any form, how to request anything. Like, these people have a surprisingly tight contract that ensures their rights, but they have to ask for them in the correct way.
Yeah, so they've got everything that they're expecting. It's just the getting it is what is difficult.
Yes.
So I'm going to tell this individual, or rather, I'm going to ask, what is it that you expect me to accomplish? What is it that you want me to accomplish?
We just want to be able to take medical leave, sir.
In order for that to happen, what might be better for everybody involved to keep all parties interested, bound to this contract, and within the limitations of this contract, there needs to be some sort of either assistance or a third-party wholly neutral mediator or facilitator. Would you agree to a potential rewrite of the contract to allow for such things?
Well, I don't know
Or an
about
addendum to
rewriting
add to it.
I don't want to cause too much of a stir. We don't
So-
want to be seen like we're renegotiating or causing trouble.
Can I keep this copy for myself?
Yeah, like this guy gets close to you and quietly says, "Things happen when people renegotiate contracts around here."
Yes. In order to, I think he stops right there and he kind of like takes a breath and starts to rethink how he wants to phrase this. In order for all parties to attain or achieve the things that they want, the Imperium needing its resources, and you, the worker, suitable time off for recovery, amongst other things, it's possible that we need to, at the very least, add to this contract, and at the very most, redo it. If you work and do not receive the things that the contract says you, I'm saying this wrong. If you're entitled to a thing, but the acquisition of that thing is difficult, you don't really have access to that thing. And that is your problem. So we need to add some sort of clause to allow the acquisition of these things, or the contract, effectively legal as is, needs to be redone because it's useless. I can't promise anything, but it is possible that we can get some resolution. We can get some sort of forward movement. but it will require some effort on all parts, including you and the representatives of the Imperium. And he looks down at the end for Cogsworthy's signature and points to him in particular, and his the representative of the Imperium here, this Mr. Cogsworthy.
Fantastic. Can I ask you to make a presence leadership roll at a -1?
No. -10, I imagine.
Yes.
Because it's already friggin' low, so I'm going to dump a fate point to advantage it.
Advantage. Okay.
That's -1. Can I spend a third fate point of the session to
I
make
think
that a
so.
0?
Yeah, that'll just make it a 0.
Yeah, let's do that. And
Listen,
I'm down to
you're so
2 fate
close to
points.
failing here. These people are afraid, right?
Yeah.
And you feel that same feeling you've had surge through you before when you've seen strange visions multiple times. You feel something in the air stirring around you. And people nearby start nodding. And they're like, yeah, we should renegotiate the contract. And somebody shouts, we should go talk to the administrator. That's what this guy said. And they just start putting their pickaxes down very carefully back in the spots on the wall. They start taking their like protective gear off and hanging it on the wall. But then
Can I
can
interject at that point?
Yeah.
Because I feel like Velamris would feel like that there's about to be something close to a strike or a lockdown or a shutdown or something.
Yeah.
And he's like, whoa.
They're
hold on.
moving you to be at the front of the strike. They're gonna put you at the center point.
I am not going to strike. I'm not going to push you into a strike. I will advocate as best I can. But that does not mean that you stop working here and now. You must continue working. If you don't, and I start flipping through the pages of the contract to that one part about corporal punishment and other related punishments or fines and all that, this stuff starts to apply. And we do not want that, do we? No, more importantly, your families don't want that.
You have removed all of the hope that these people had in this moment. And the man that you've been talking to says, then what do we do?
Trust that I will make something happen. Give me time.
All
and
hope
I'm
dead.
so tempted right now to leave Genovius behind.
Genovius?
What's he going to do?
It's just proof of my intention, but I'm not going to do that.
No, he was a hostage.
Well, it's just like to prove my faith in you. I trust with you this care of my golden C-3PO android, but I'm not going to do that.
He's not an android.
I know he isn't.
Human.
I'm making it.
I know you're making Are you leaving him behind?
No, I am not.
Okay.
I'm not. But I'm going to tell him listen, I understand your concerns. I understand your fears. Give me a few days. Let me see what I can put together. Because if nothing else, I can always go and see Cogsworthy again and be like, hey, let's fix this and make it quick.
The miners their hopes are crushed. And the leader that you've been speaking to, claps his hands, turns to everybody and goes, all right, stop jaw-jacking. We're 120 seconds behind with this striking nonsense. Get your equipment back on. Keep your eyes forward. Let's keep doing the work. We're going to let Administratum Velamris do what he said he came here to do. It's more hope than we've ever had.
It's more hope than... I think Velamris says this really quietly, but he's like, that's more hope than most in the Imperium get.
Man.
Wow.
That corruption point's really affecting Velamris.
No, his corruption's gone. He's trying to do good here. But he also so this is the way he's looking at it, is these people have a legitimate concern that's not being addressed. He's going to try to do something about it. But at the end of the day, the Imperium is going to get their 9/10. There's no way around it. And he's not afraid to, if he has to come back in here, as much as he would prefer not to, he'll come back here and murder every one of these motherfuckers to keep the goddamn mines open.
Wow.
He doesn't
Omar
say any
Krieg,
of that to any
not
of them.
a man that will stand on the strike line with you. He'll murder every motherfucker.
I didn't say Omar would
Keep
do
the
that.
lines going. That's what I heard.
Velamris is no representation without taxation. I think that's a little bit off there, James.
Omar Pinkerton Creed.
Velamris Pinkerton, maybe.
We're going to go on the first of 2 breaks, and when we get back, we're going to check in with Rassie. What could he be doing that he specifically not talked about it the whole time?
We'll find out.
It is.
I'm a bit of a Nosferatu myself, honestly.
You gotta stop being so rough on yourself.
Rassie, as you enter into the local nobility council meeting, you see that one of the members seems to be getting a quiet briefing, and it's a man who's dressed in very similar robes to Velamris's like traditional second-hand, like old dingy administratum robes, and he's leaning forward and says, "Yes, that's right, ma'am. It turns out that when you make your product less popular, you will get less sales of it." And the woman turns in her chair to look directly at the person speaking to her and goes, "No, really? I had no idea. I suppose I should stop doing unpopular things. I'm so glad that I hired an economist to tell me that. Thank you very much. You're dismissed." "Yes, you're dismissed." She like gestures to a guard who's wearing the same house colors as her, and the man silently pulls out like a small bolter pistol as he leads the guy out the room and just like points it at the guy's back, and you just hear a loud banging noise from the next room as the economist is let out.
2 bangs.
No, just one.
No, because it's 2 bangs.
Oh, because the explosion inside the body.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Well, let's say it's 1 bang because, you know, the time for the shot to fire and then hit, it'll just sound like 1 bang when you're inside a room. Fine, it's 2 bangs. It's super loud.
Well,
Everyone starts.
One's a bit wetter than the other one.
Okay, that is true. Nobody stands up to greet you. You could see that they are all wearing different forms of house colors. It looks like the woman has considerably more wealth and influence than the other 2 men that are in here. And yet the scene plays out almost exactly like Holly's, where they're seated around a table waiting for you to sit down as well. "Ah, Imperial Commander, former Rassie. Please sit down, sit down. I'm Samantha."
You'll have a seat. We say Samantha.
Yes, Samantha.
They'll bolt out a hand, I guess. It's a pleasure to meet you.
My associates, Mr. Prendar Creed, representing House Garus, and Willops Al Saija, representing House Rux.
I did not type nearly fast enough for that.
Okay, Prendar Creed. He's writing stuff down for those who are listening to this audio medium. We called together this little gathering just to see what's going on with you. There's some concern among the nobility here that local markets may be affected by an influx of products, or maybe a dearth of local products that are being exported out. Just curious if you could give us a heads up as to what your trading company's doing.
We are interested in, of course, expanding our operation here. But that doesn't mean that it has to be at the detriment to anybody else.
My understanding is that your operation nominally is conquering alien worlds and delving artifacts. Do you believe that this moon has some sort of hold of artifacts, or perhaps can supply you with the means necessary to go to war? Or are you looking to take products off-world?
Well, we'd be looking at establishing supply lines here to continue those operations and then bring those goods back in order to be able to return them to the hands of those who might appreciate them, better utilize them.
All right. The three of them are all looking at each other, just passing very hooded PC glances, significant PC glances between the three of them. Prendar opens up a cigar case and says, "You smoke, Mr. Rassie?"
Yes, I do.
All right. Cuts the end off for you and slides it over the table.
He'll take it. Could I make an intuition roll to try to get a feel for this group?
Yes. And if you take a -10 on it, I'll also let you get a feel for the cards as well.
Sold.
I hope that comes back to bite you. I hope your greediness destroys you.
I will spend. It's my first roll of the game, so I will be spending a fate point for advantage.
Of course. Traditional.
Wow,
that fate point really worked out for you. You turned a 48 into a 48.
And
I'll spend another for more
I'll,
success.
I'll spend another one to +1 that.
Okay. These people are not good card players. They're the kind of people that think that they're good card players, and they play a purely mathematical game. You know what I mean? Like, it's easy to predict what they're going to do because they always play the game exactly the same way on every single hand. Each of them has their own idiosyncrasies, right? But you're like, wow, there's literally no finesse. There's no, like, bluffing involved in this. You get a pretty good idea of what everybody has at any given time after just a few hands. And you have the opportunity to start fleecing the shit out of them if you'd like to. With that said, with an additional +1 success, overall, the vibe you're getting from this group, it's not that they don't think you belong here, right? But this group thinks that your organization doesn't belong here. You are worthy to be in this room. But the presence of your rogue trader group definitely is making problems for them. And they're having a tough time getting a read on you and what you want. Like, even your talk so far has had no direct, like, we want to take stuff off world. What's the stuff? Like, they're confused as to what you want, and they're trying to get a read on you.
So their areas of influence are going to be the moon, are on the moon and what they can bring to the moon, right?
No, I mean, quite the opposite, actually. All of their houses represent concerns from other worlds. Nobles from other worlds have sent these, like cousins and third sons and that sort of thing here as representatives to carry out their interests. So these people are acting as trading houses themselves, not rogue traders, but just as trading houses. And so it kind of feels like they've got a sort of consortium going on, a cartel, essentially. They fixed all the prices between the three of them. And your presence here upsets that balance really greatly. And again, they're trying to get any information out of you in a not very clever way. And you've just been like, we're here to buy supplies. And they're like, okay, what supplies? And you're like, supplies. So yeah, you could see like sweat off of Prendar Creed, and he's like, I can't read him. It's impossible. He's so good.
I think I've gotten the sense that everybody here is interested in a consistent mutual profit.
Now, when you say that, they immediately all three look at each other, and we get the anime icon out, and then their voice actor's like, huh? What? How did he know?
And I would certainly enjoy being able to take back to our trading house that our intentions are to integrate into that. We also have an interest in mutual profit. In the long term, that provides growth for everybody. Conflict is costly. If I can get a better idea of the market as it exists at this table, then I can ensure, to put in a good word, that our stance becomes one of integration instead of hostility.
I am gonna give you the option of either doing a presence intimidation because of the way you ended it, or a haggle rapport for the way you started it.
I do want to. I want it to be on the friendlier side. I'm trying to be like, I'm trying to get them to willingly tell me about their markets so we can
Okay.
figure out how to exploit it.
All right.
So I think I'll go for the haggle.
All right. I'm gonna roll on this one. So
All right. Well, we're gonna. I will.
if you spend a fate point, you win by a lot.
Yeah, I'm just gonna spend to be a victory versus a failure.
Okay. You push yourself over. They immediately are like, oh. And they like let out breaths they didn't know that they were holding, and begin spilling everything about their entire operation to you immediately.
Okay.
So the three of them are essentially acting as like when the members we met earlier of the consortium club like bring stuff in, these guys are the trusted nobles who sell it to the Adeptus Mechanicus. Right? Like goods are brought to this moon, and then they have to be resold through a approved noble buyer, essentially. So they've each chosen some form of local good that they buy from the consortium and then resell down on the planet. And they're hoping that you don't disturb this balance, because it's pretty easy money for them. They're just trading in the influence of their house for like a 0.5% cut. And yet, because of the bulk nature of the business, they're able to live comfortably while still send something back home.
Right.
They literally do almost nothing all day while talking about how expert they're. Yeah, like you're getting the idea. This is
What groups of goods do each of them do their resales on?
So Willips does the cargo recovery. Anything that's being brought in by the pirates, he then resells it to the Mechanicus as like rare treasures from lost colonies, or like a teleportation chamber discovered in the wreck of a ship. No need to mention that the ship was blown up by the people who brought it back, sort of deal.
Okay.
Prendar deals in turning over human capital and the food trade, and then Savantha works with the West Macarian Trading Company. She's like barely even involved in it. She basically just stamps papers to get the water. Like it's just like two ships in orbit of the moon will like dock. A hose will go from one to the other, and then the trusted ship will make its way into the orbit of the planet. The goods don't even touch down on Alpha Primus. Now,
Okay.
I have to think that Rassie isn't surprised at the level of inefficiency and grift and corruption that's being displayed here. It's pretty typical for an Imperial operation, especially when the nobility get involved.
Yeah, and he's not showing any like disapproval or anything. It's all very much like interesting. Okay, so we want to make sure we don't mess with that process. And he's being very. I mean, we went with the haggle roll, so he's giving off a very interested and cooperative air.
Now, I'm going to tell you this because I assume that you're going to fill Holly in later. Samantha doesn't say anything about the gray trade. The trade of alien artifacts. She doesn't seem to know or is involved in that at all.
Sorry, do you mean the cold trade?
Yes, sorry. It's called gray trade in XCOM. Yes, I did mean the cold trade. And I think I made the same mistake in Rogue Trader Last Scion as well. I'm sorry, I'm XCOM pilled because XCOM
it's a good thing no one watches that.
One person watches it. Exactly one person.
So Samantha, it's not just that it doesn't come up. I get the impression that she's totally uninvolved and not even really thinking about it.
So just to be clear, your character doesn't know about that from James yet, but I want to make sure that when your characters get together to talk about it later, that we don't gloss over this because it could be important.
Okay. And through conversation, do I get what house Savannah represents?
Samantha represents House Tali. So her actual name is Samantha Tali.
Okay. Because I want to put us in the most advantageous position to work with them in the future. I give them assurances that there's going to be time to discuss and plan to make sure that this works this works well for everybody. We're going to have time to figure this out while the quarantine passes through. Like they don't have to fear anything sudden.
Okay, you haven't told them what you're going to buy or sell, but you have reassured them that you will not mess up their cool, good deal. And they believe you.
Okay. Otherwise, I plan to enjoy my time, and I want to. Yeah, I mean, I will win at cards.
Cool.
I'm just imagining what all these people are doing. The people that Rassie spoke to and I spoke to, they're all going back to their managers and they're saying, "Oh, I've got us a great deal lined up. We're going to do business with this Rogue Trader house." And the managers are like, "So what are we buying?" I'll sell them. I don't know yet, but it's going to happen. start running.
We're excited, but we don't know why.
Listen, James, what Rassie is selling is an idea. What he's selling is confidence in the individual.
Hey, well, I once employed a salesperson whose only job experience was selling carbon credits, and I thought if you can sell people on an idea that they give you money and you make the world a greener place on their behalf, you can sell anything.
Just as a reminder, pet rocks exist, so yes.
That dude made a goddamn fortune.
Yeah, I plan to just be pleasant and have a good time. And then when it ends, he'll be pleasant. He'll pleasantly leave.
Velamris, where do you go after your meeting?
I think I'm gonna meet up with the rest.
Okay, everyone meets back up together several hours later.
Yeah, I think ultimately I want to know, like, one, just on a curiosity level, like what everybody else's individual summonses were, but also now out of character, I know that there's ways that we can all work together to accomplish a couple different things here, but like Velamris' standpoint is like, hey, this is this contract thing, and I really kind of want to screw over Cogsworthy a little bit, but also more importantly, higher priority, benefit the rogue trader. What can we do here? I have an idea or two, and one of those ideas is based out of character knowledge that I don't have yet, which is Rassie's name.
I do want to, while I'm leaving or whatever, I want to establish if there's a way to request a meeting of minds and make it clear that that's a personal request and not that I'm asking for a way for us to talk, not for the rogue trader to talk to them.
Okay.
So I figured a way is established for him to call together the minds to request
Oh, for the three of us?
request a meeting.
Yeah.
No, for Savantha, Predator, and
Oh,
Lance.
yeah, okay.
He's trying to posture in a way that's like, you know, I am now going to act as an agent here. I'm going to work the rogue trader for all of our benefit, that sort of thing.
Oh, yes, I understand. You're the used car salesman who tells me that you have to go to your boss, but you're going to negotiate on my behalf while you're there to get permission to get the discount. Yes.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna go
understand.
back and get all this stuff taken care of. But
Kane,
you know, just a way for us. Yeah, it's
Kane,
just
this
like
is
a
gonna
way
work.
for us to be able to meet again in the future to be able to talk about, you know, making sure everything goes smoothly for everyone to continue their free rides.
So, Kane, your idea of ingratiating Rassie into these three others really works well with the idea that I have that in character I can't discuss yet because I don't know what your meeting was about. But the short version is Velamris is like, why don't we hire these people? We provide or we allow for them to get the medical shit that they want. They work for us. They give us the ore. We turn around and sell this ore to these people who then in turn turn it around and sell it to the Adeptus Mechanicus. And we all get fucking fabulously filthy fucking rich off of it. That was a lot of F words right there, but
But I just wanted to say that before we do the transition to us all meeting together.
yeah.
Afterwards.
So we come back together at our lunar establishment, or whether it's the back of the Valkyrie or some other thing.
You have a place in your rented trading house. Yeah.
Do we actually have a house or not a house?
It's a
but
trading house. It's like a warehouse / marketplace where
on the moon.
yeah. It's
Okay.
your landing pad, the trading warehouse is all in the same location. You just don't have a license to sell anything yet.
Okay. Velamris will get a mental note that we need to fix that too. But
Well, you've got the paperwork to fill out.
yep, I'll get right on that after we re-huddle. In fact, one of us can mention, oh yeah, we have to do that too. But yeah, but ultimately, Velamris is going to come back. He's going to have a stack of this contract paperwork in his hand. He's going to look like he's been in the back end of a mine with Luther and Genofius, and said, well, my meeting seems to have moved forward. We have some things to work out. I have ideas.
Gifanovius steps in and says, sorry, did you just say my name wrong?
It's entirely possible, Genofius.
Okay, just making... It's Gifanovius.
Yeah, Genofius. Got it. That's what I'm saying, right? Is that what I'm saying? I feel like I'm saying it right.
It's Gifanovius.
No, this is totally Velamris fucking me, by the way.
Okay.
But yeah, so
Okay, you haze the shit out of him.
yeah, because that's what Velamris does now.
Velamris is trying to be one of the cool kids.
Yeah, well, listen, Velamris is trying to start a knighthood ceremony, a knighthood organization. This is what you do to the new guys: you haze the shit out of them, and then one day you knight them. So I have a contract here with a bunch of miners that are more or less happy to keep working as long as they could get the things that were promised to them that this contract says that they can get, but the actual physical process of getting is delayed and difficult and tedious. Personally, I'm half a mind to say, why don't we just buy them out ourselves?
I know that we had the money to do that.
Well, these are things that,
until we
yeah,
have
I think,
a better idea of the trading landscape here, we probably shouldn't be making enemies yet.
well, Cogsworthy's name's at the bottom of this contract, and he's on my not so friendly list. But that doesn't have to be a thing right now. I have to figure out how to help these people, or more importantly, maintain things so that the Imperium gets its lion's share. And how did your meeting go, Rassie, Holly?
Mine was largely a waste of time. Maybe future opportunities, I don't know. But just some angles I can work. But a bunch of self-important, uninteresting people wasting my time.
That's deeply hurtful, James.
I think Velamris, Velamris, I don't know. I've never played Velamris as being one to read between the lines so well, but I think he's starting to pick up a few of the things that Holly is starting to put down.
But this is not my impression of the Arthur. This is Holly's
I
impression
understand.
of it.
Yeah.
It's just that I thought I gave some character to Sir Roswald Shorthaltz Worthington.
You certainly did. Just Holly
The one with the
didn't care for it.
alphabet series of
Yeah,
knighthoods and
KBEEFHI of the Seasoning Guild of Redham.
yeah. Well, he was certainly well seasoned.
Yeah. Just because Holly's a jerk doesn't mean I'm a jerk. I am, but it's not because
You
I'm
are a jerk. I've seen the way you communicate with other Australians.
Rassie, how was your meeting?
Literally just dollars flowing out of his pockets from all the ones he stuffed in there.
From the poker game?
Yeah.
Yeah, how much money did I win?
Let's say you made 100 Macarians.
Hey, you dropped something, Rassie. Is that money?
I think I met with some people that I think I could turn into an opportunity for the trading house.
I think when you say that, Velamris is like, "Oh, how so?" Because I think he's thinking kind of like the same thing from his angle, but he hasn't figured out exactly how to do it.
Well, for now, what I'll say is that through them, I think I will get a much better understanding of the inner workings of trade on this moon, which could expose opportunities for us to exploit already existing processes for really cheap investments for some profit.
I take the contract and I kind of slap it down, not like angrily or anything like that, but just kind of toss it.
Jumps back when you slam it down angrily.
Yeah, no, this isn't like in a courtroom or anything. This is just setting it down kind of loudly, and he's just like, "I bet there's a way we can make this work for our trade house with these miners. I'm sure there's a way we can make it work that benefits the Imperium, the Darkwind trading house, and the miners all at once. I don't know how we can get there yet."
Now, you said that they were promised something and then it wasn't delivered. Is that right?
They have the ability to request, among other things, time off for medical recovery due to injuries on the job. In order to get that, they have to go through a number of administrative hurdles that it seems really to benefit only one person. Well, I mean, other than the Imperium itself and the fact that they're still working, and that's this Cogsworthy fellow.
So,
I mean, Cogsworthy we have it in with. So we promised him two things. One, a signed contract from us that was advantageous to us, not disadvantageous, and a blank contract he could use to scam others. And those two things will get him on our side.
I'm wondering if we took over this contract, that we have the facilities otherwise to attend to these people's medical needs. And the other things promised in this contract that they're jumping through hoops to get to.
I mean, this is a very common tactic where the workers negotiate a contract of things from management, and then management never delivers on them. So the workers complain, and so management come back and renegotiate the contract to a lower level to deliver on that. But they never intended to deliver on the higher level as such. So we can go back and say, well, look, we can't actually do all these things that you were promised, but we can do 80% of them, and you have to give us 30% more work, sort of thing. That is a quite a viable tactic.
looking at AP's face.
I think Velamris is like, this sounds cool, but I think at some point, like somehow Velamris has. This is what he says. He's like, that might be doable.
I mean, they're getting more than they have now, which is nothing. So
correct.
that's
but what if
the
the Darkwind trading houses, the ones that hold this contract, then in theory, everything they mine becomes ours, and we can turn around and sell it to whomever.
So I guess the issue I see
house
is if they're already supplying somebody, so there's a channel right now which goes from production to supply, and we insert ourselves into that channel, and so we basically become the managers of their supply through to the destination. The kicker is there that if they stop working again or something happens to prevent that, we're still on the hook to the people that they were providing to. So we need to know that we can then keep them working. Whether we can go through and servitorize their operations so that there's no concerns. This is all about synergies and how do we reduce their costs while increasing their output.
Dude, while you're looking at poaching and changing the circumstances that the customer is having here, do you know who this ore is, where it's going?
No, but
You've read
he
the
looks over at
contract.
the computer terminal, not too far away. I bet I could find out.
I mean, you've read the contract. It's being bought directly by the Mechanicus, but the person that it's being funneled through, like the trusted trader that it's being funneled through, is Brelto Cogsworthy, who was also the arbitrator, third-party arbitrator for the contract.
The neutral arbitrator.
Yes.
Who's benefiting from the contract he negotiated, which
correct. On behalf of the Adeptus Mechanicus.
Yeah, is questionably morally dubious.
Hold on. This is the Imperium.
Yes, I'm aware, AP. I'm just I think Velamris goes to pick it up and he takes it over to you, Rassie. Now, part of the reason why he's doing this is because I know what your meeting was, but he doesn't. So he's giving it to you, like flipping to where it says Brelto is the one that is handling all of this stuff, both the contract negotiation and the ore that's being mined and everything else. And he points to it and he says, This is the person that you're asking about. This is the person receiving that. Do you know another way for us to take this, continue everything, but basically with our name on it? And by our name, he means obviously the Rogue Trader's name.
I mean, you're pointing at Cogsworth's name, right?
I'm sorry?
You're pointing at Cogsworth's name.
Yes, yeah. Like his goal is to kind of more or less push him out because he doesn't like him, but also like at the end of the day, he thinks the Rogue Trader should be running everything here and profiting from everything more accurately.
Well, if we wanted to try to take this profit away from Cogsworth, we would certainly want to make sure that we were done with our advantageous business with him first. And then we can try to repair that relationship later if we need anything else from him.
Remember he's also helping us with acquiring a Gellerfield for the ship.
Yeah, we have immediate needs.
Out of character, I definitely forgot about the Gellerfield.
We have immediate needs with him that we don't want to make more difficult before we're done.
What if we were, what's the term? I believe silent partners in equal standing alongside him as we move this ore along. At this point, Velamris just looks around and he's like, there's a little bit of a frustrated look on his face. He's like, I don't understand how business works. I know how paperwork works, but not business.
I think it's too early to turn on Cogsworthy right now.
Small sigh of utter frustration from Velamris on that.
I mean, if you want to try to... Actually, this could be interesting. You could try and... I mean, they're seeking respite for medical recovery. My first question to you as I hand you the contract back, I'm not even going to try to read this thing. Aside from the fact that they have been running into issues with the request, if you read that contract, is it even possible for them to get it in the first place?
Is it possible? I don't know if it's my headset or if I just can't hear. It's coming in a little faint.
Is it actually possible for them to get this medical care in the contract, or is the contract written such that they're allowed to make requests for something that they cannot have? Is it just difficult, or is it actually not possible with the way it's written?
AP, I'm gonna ask you that question because the way I'm understanding is they can request everything, but the paperwork is what is holding them up because they don't have it filled out quite right. They don't have all the pieces they need. But is the actual medical care
The medical
apparatus in
care
place?
is going to be replacement limbs from secondhand Mechanicus replacements.
I think in Velamris' mind, that's totally as long as that can actually be done. I guess what Velamris' biggest question is that he would have to want to figure out is like if they had all the steps and blocks checked off correctly, would they actually get the care that they need?
Yes.
Okay. At which point then Velamris is just like, I think maybe. And he stops and he starts kind of like he grabs like a blank piece of paper and starts scribbling on it as he sits down on the couch. So I imagine he's got this clipboard with this thick stack of papers for the contract and then a couple of loose sheets on top of it. He's starting to write on it. He's like, what if the rogue trader provides administrative support for these individuals? Listen, in the real world, there's actually probably somebody that does this. What I'm thinking of is like something akin to like the state labor and Jesus Christ.
I think
the
Omar's
Sipkid dad
inventing the concept of medical insurance companies right before our eyes.
My brain is running in like 6 different directions because there's like the ideas I have, and then what does Velamris come up with, and how does he know it? What he's trying to figure out is like L&I, but it supports the worker, not the state, so the worker can get their care, so that the worker can go back to work. Like basically, I feel like I'm legitimately verbatim repeating what the state like L&I is supposed to be doing. But obviously, it's the rogue trader that's getting the cut out of this, getting something for it, because otherwise, Velamris is not going to push it.
Now, here's the thing, Velamris. If the rogue trader's the middleman, that means the current middleman's being cut out. And the thing about middlemen is that they don't like being cut out. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay,
I'm going to argue this, though. There is no middleman for this position that Velamris is envisioning. He's thinking he wants. There's an office to be created in the mines or near the mines, near the mine barracks, for the workers to go to that the people in that office know how to take all of this paperwork and all of these problems, put it all into a nice, neat pile, give it to the appropriate people so that person can go get their limbs replaced, whatever it is. The rogue trader provides that service, charges the workers, charges the Adeptus Mechanicus, whoever, to get money for it.
Omar
That's
has
what he's trying to do.
medical insurance and billing for sure. That's what just happened.
So here's what I'm thinking, because we don't want to do this in a way that's going to mess with Cogsworth for now. We can
give him a cut of the damn profits too. Sorry, go ahead.
Hold on. So we have gotten permission to have a presence directly on the planet. Everybody else is using this other logistics chain to get things off the planet because they can't just land on the planet, right? Yeah. So we own any logistics chain that we want to have going from our compound on the planet to the moon, which means we don't have to pay anybody else to move that stuff, and we can do it faster. So what if we talk to Cogsworth about how he would have gotten those replacement limbs, and we take that financial burden off of him, so he never has to pay these workers he never has to pay for any of these limbs. And for the workers part of it, if one of the workers wants to take time off to get medically evaluated for recovery or limb replacement, then other workers on the shift split it up, however, work the additional hours and productivity to cover the missing time. And that worker's wage is cut in part And the remainder of that wage comes out of their pocket to us as the, you know, the fee for the service, for the evaluation and the possible addition of the limb. It'd probably be cheaper for us to provide the service than it is for Cogsworth. He wouldn't have to worry about it anymore. He doesn't lose the productivity time because other workers have to do the work that that person is missing. So he gets to maintain those quotas. And we can charge the workers a small fee that they have to pay in regular intervals to have the option to use the medical aid. And we can benevolently provide a simpler, easier, more accessible process for your workers that make them happy. Cogsworth, bottom line, doesn't change. The Mechanicus is still getting what they need. And we can enter the market. We can enter the complexity of a trade going on the moon. And that's expandable. If other mines here want to cut that cost, it's cheaper for us to do it, and we're not taking money out of their pockets, we're taking money out of the workers' pockets.
Okay. I think that would work. We could even charge them a small fee to use this service up front and call it a pre-co-payment. I'm trying to make a bad joke here. Don't worry about me.
No, for all the workers that want to have the option to use the service, pay a small portion of their regular wages to be in the program, in our roles, in our documentation, all of that. It's to cover the admin work of ensuring that when they make those requests, we can honor it.
When you say that last little bit there, Velamris was like, I'm in. Let's do it.
And then we just write the contract to make sure that the workers can't abuse us. And we make sure that over time we will generate
I think we could just do
an
addendum to the current contract that covers this particular series of clauses.
Incredible how this session has gone so far.
I need one quick second, but go ahead.
We will become the workers' health insurance on the moon for miners. Take that burden off these companies.
I'm going to need a roll to secure a contract that says all of these things and will be acceptable to all parties. I didn't think we'd be negotiating insurance companies today.
I didn't think so either.
I thought we'd be going to parties.
I mean, we still have a third half.
A third half. Thank you. I needed that.
Sorry, I had to answer a question with my kid. What did I miss?
It seems like we're getting together to write up the contract for the first offering of the Darkwind Trading House mining workers health insurance plan.
All right, am I making a roll? I feel like I'm about to make one.
What am I rolling? We're gonna need 3 rolls.
Okay.
Oh boy.
I need 1 logic evaluation.
Okay.
I need 1. Is it rapport haggling?
Yeah.
Haggle is under rapport. That sounds right. Yeah.
And then a presence leadership.
Can I get Holly to do those other 2?
So I can definitely presence leadership is my jam.
Because and I would be like, I'm sure setting up a meeting.
Haggle rapport.
Okay.
Because I'm envisioning like if I have to, I can bring Holly down to the miners and be like, this is who. I mean, I'll even just kind of lie a little bit. Like, this is who I report to. This is the person that's going to. Lie. Well, no, but I'm thinking like this is the person that I speak to in order to sell the car.
Yeah. Look, I have to negotiate with my manager, but I'm going to do my best to get you the deal. Then they go into a room and have coffee together for 5 minutes and pretend they're talking when they come back to you. Yes.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Physical salvation service. I love it.
I have a question. Can I add any of Samantha, Brenda, or Willows as contacts for any factions?
Sure. They represent a single faction, which is the nobility on the local planet. Alpha Primus.
All right. What's the purpose of the logic evaluation?
That is to write the actual contract.
Okay. Do you want to do that before or after the
I need a success on all of these. I need a plus 0 success on all 3 rolls to have a fully, completely realized contract.
Yeah, well, so what's your first one? Sorry, was logic evaluation.
Yeah, I'll do that one.
It can be done in any order, but
I will assist you with that with attentive assistance, so you get advantage.
Okay. Well, that frees up my 1
fate point
that I was going to put on that. All right, so I'll make that now.
And you can
and I will
spend that
give
one you
another
saved.
fate point to flip it over.
So we're now +1 for that.
Yep.
And now we.
Oh, I was supposed to roll that at well, it wouldn't have mattered with a 55. So
a 55 would become a 55, my friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now we need the haggle rapport.
Is it literally the one
leadership
number
presence.
in existence that won't flip on advantage?
Well, any double number
double.
won't.
Yeah.
44, 33.
I suppose that's true. Yes.
Yeah. Is it so am I going to go meet them first? If I'm going to meet them first, then I can always do a.
I would definitely recommend meeting them first.
Okay, I can do my air of authority first then.
And I will introduce her as my
boss,
car
my
salesman
manager.
supervisor.
Okay,
Yep.
well that succeeds on that. So
They're all very impressed when a sister arrives. They don't know what a sister is, but they're all very impressed by your air of authority.
And I'd also like to either add them for myself as a contact or for the group as a contact.
so
Sure.
haggle first.
Probably
with a
for
fate.
James, but oh my
That's
Well,
god.
James is
Absolutely
rolling
fine.
1, so that's astounding success.
Fuck.
Christ. We get a cut of everything, every transaction that
Well,
happens.
now you can have up to a -7 failure on the last roll. Okay, so you have a
That's
plus
cool.
11 overall. This is way beyond the bounds of the game, essentially.
So, because we're so far beyond, can we get a personal cut out of this?
I
In
think
addition to the trading house making all this
think
money?
that's what happens.
I
Like, we
mean,
get
that's
some
the
sort of
Dinas
finder's fee or
Qatari
some
way,
shit.
right? Like, that's what you're...
I remember that cocksucker.
You
He
are
got us
going
all
to take...
jumped.
Yeah, you're going to take like a 0.01% off the top for yourselves. And then,
We just round off all the pennies.
Yes,
the pennies
exactly.
just go to a
Yeah,
separate
the rogue trader is going to take 1% of the cost of doing business here. And you've successfully re-realized the contract in such a way that takes away from all of Cogsworthy's bullshit and simplifies. I have a problem. I have a medical condition. I need help. Now, to clarify here, what's going to happen is these people are going to be like, I have sleep apnea. I need to be able to rest at night. The Adeptus Mechanicus is not going to be like, oh, I see. We should get you a CPAP machine. What they're going to do is remove their lungs.
They get a box machine.
and put something in them to breathe for them. That sort of, but it's all going to be like secondhand, barely working crap that, like, has already been used for like 1,000 years, is on the verge of failure. But it is better than what they're currently getting, which is nothing. So,
So I
really
imagine
just
most
say-
of the workers are happy for the first year or two.
So a quick story here before we go to break. The first time I had a job with a company car, I had an accident in the company car. Someone else hit me, and I rang up the office and said, okay, which insurer do I call about this? And they said, oh, it's okay, we're self-insured. So just deal with this person internally. And so at the time, I thought self-insured meant like maybe the company has like its own insurance arm or its own services as such. They just buy their own services from. But I later learned that self-insured actually means uninsured. It just means the company has so many vehicles that it's cheaper for them just to replace a vehicle when it gets broken than it is to pay insurance on all those vehicles for all those people. So and likewise, like when I went overseas, if there was health issues, they don't pay health insurance. They self-insure. This means the company pays for any costs occurred, overseas, on the basis that hopefully less people claim or less people have issues, and it would cost them to pay for insurance.
that's such a dangerous risk, but I guess somebody
Yeah.
did.
I guess it's worked out so far.
Actuary tables or some sort of risk analysis.
Yeah.
I don't know. Or maybe they're just like the guys at the Consortium Club and it just doesn't matter.
It's just beneath them.
I don't know if I told the story before, but there's companies here because it's like American lotteries are much higher reward than Australian lotteries are. And so there's companies that say, hey, buy a ticket in an American lottery. Now, it's not legal to buy a ticket in an American lottery if you're not an American citizen, you're living overseas. What they do is they take out an insurance policy that the number that you get won't be the one that's drawn in the lottery. And the payout from the insurance company is equal to what the lottery would have paid you in America had you won. But it's cheaper than to get to take out the insurance and everybody that puts the money in for it, because the chances of actually winning are so infinitesimally small.
Incredible. That's like
the numbers. Trying to figure out the numbers on that to make that make sense to me almost gave me a headache.
I mean, there were guys back when lotteries were first really picking up in America that made like timeshare companies where you would just buy like 60 or 70,000 lottery tickets every day. Once the lottery hit a certain amount, they would just buy thousands and thousands of tickets because like some mathematician worked out a formula that like you had way higher chance of winning if you just bought every single lottery ticket. And they just tried to make it work for them and turned the lottery into like a stock investment. And then, of course, the lottery commission was like, you can't do that. Anyway, we'll be back in the third half, as it's been called by me and by others, to figure out just how this contract negotiation is going to work. Although, based on a +11, you physically and morally force Brelto Cogsworthy into the new agreement. So
he's not losing anything. He'll be fine.
I mean, he is losing things. The respect.
But he doesn't think that.
Yeah, I mean,
he only sees the win.
The bottom line is clean.
With that rolling a 1 on haggle, he walks out going, man, I'm glad they took that burden off. I'm a winner.
Yeah, that's true. All right, I'll buy that. James has definitely convinced him. Not Holly. James definitely convinced him that it was a win. Actually, this is in my best interest to renegotiate this contract.
Listen, your workers are going to be happier. They're going to be more productive, and you know what? We just made the Adeptus Mechanicus even more happy because now they got a bunch of old secondhand parts to get rid of.
Somewhere out there, someone's just like, look, you're really dodging a bullet with a worker strike here. That's going to hurt your bottom line. It's going to hurt trust in your organization. Let us take that off your hands, okay? All right, we'll be back in about 5 minutes for that third.
Imperium Maledictum user pays.
Fantastic. So, the three of you are in Brelto Cogsworth's office. You've presented this, you've double-checked it with the miners, all the T's and I's are dotted, and he says, well, this certainly seems like you've put in the work here. I just need to know the name of which personnel you'll be leaving behind on Alpha Primus. Someone, presumably, who speaks Binaric and has a good contact with the Adeptus Mechanicus to facilitate all of this.
I look at Genovius.
Genovius looks at you and says, you know I don't work for you, right?
Could you fill this role?
Yes.
Is it better than your last job?
I'd like to see a contract.
Services
contract.
I tell him, you know what? I will tell him I will be more than happy to drop a contract later.
Okay.
Not in a like dismissive way, but like obviously I can't do it right here, right now.
Yeah. So
that's fine. Our people will call your people.
Yeah. Based on that, Brelto basically deputizes him into the service of the rogue trader and gives him permission to act as an agent on the planet for the purposes of buying and selling. So Genovius' whole life is now acting as a trade agent on Alpha Primus. He's probably going to spend 90% of his days not doing anything.
So what you're saying is he does work for us now?
Yes, he does work for you now. Yeah.
Okay.
And he's the authorized agent of record on planet.
Mm.
He's looking at his robes. He just takes them off and says, I'm gonna have to get someone to send these back down to the planet.
Get something nicer.
Yeah, you deserve it.
I'll give him 500 sols to get him started.
Okay. He says, I've never had money before. You know, the mechanic has just provided me with everything I need.
Yes, Luther, grab his belongings and hold on to them. We'll send them to the recycler later.
Okay, Luther grabs his belongings, and Kefanovius goes, now, he was hired before me, but do I outrank him now?
Luther says that? Or
no, Kefanovius says it.
It's a sideways move.
Okay.
Yes, lateral movement. Also, sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Go. Yep.
No,
but perks, not seniority.
I was going to make more of an out of character comment. Velamris is starting to look at Luther as his squire, by the way.
Okay.
But obviously we can't voice a lot of that yet because there's nothing close to a knighthood anywhere near Velamris. So,
I mean, we're on a night planet.
Okay, that's about as close as we get. Go ahead, Kain.
Oh, I was just amused thinking about how he's now stepping into where we were at the beginning of season 1. He's like, congratulations, your life's upside down.
Don't worry, we promised not to make you an Imperial governor for 5 minutes in about 20 minutes. So we have 2 items remaining. One is that meeting at midnight that I need to go get formally dressed up for, and the license to sell stuff here on the moon.
Nope, you just did that part.
So we have now a blanket sales
Kefanovius is the agent of record for the Rogue Trader now.
Oh, well, in that case, I'm going to go find me the spiffiest of duds possible.
Okay.
Black tie.
Yes. So the minimum amount you need to spend to get into the party is 1,000. If you're looking to... Hold on. I said the minimum. If you're looking to make an impression, it's going to cost you at least 5,000.
I will drop 7,000.
You'll drop 7,000.
Not to make an impression, but to make sure I absolutely look the best that I could ever look. Because on one hand, it's required for this event, but also Velamris has never had this opportunity before, and he wants to say he's done it.
And we'll have these clothes indefinitely as well, I assume.
Yes.
Unless we're doing the whole thing like approaching a fashion designer to wear their label for the day and then return like the 100,000 solar dress at the end of the night, you know.
So I think, Velamris, you're getting a tailored suit to... The locals have gotten used to House Vandersarg in orbit, and so they get you a suit tailored to look like what the knights wear.
Okay. As long as it meets the black tie requirement side of it. And I would also like to be able to carry my power sword in a nice scabbard, scabbard fitting my attire.
Sure. You get all of that for 7,000 at the last minute. There's definitely the person has several assistants, and then when something goes wrong, they fire one of them dramatically before you. They don't actually fire them, but they say, "You're fired. You ruined everything. I'm so sorry, customer."
More negotiation tactics. I see what you're doing here.
Yeah.
What's Sister Holly doing?
I'll just drop 10 grand.
Is Holly trying to show Velamris up on who's got deeper pockets?
Yeah.
I think so.
Oh,
come on, Kain! You got a chance to beat it here.
I don't.
But all he has to do is show up in his dress A uniform.
He looks to the side at the master-crafted Tempestus armor with the master-craft plasma gun. He thinks about all the money that was.
Yes. What's suitable for the battlefield is suitable for the ballroom. That's something everyone said. That's why I bring my M249 every time I go.
M249. Jesus
every time
Christ.
I do the Charleston, I make sure I'm hauling 40 pounds of equipment with me.
And I feel like it's no stress.
At least you can move the stock so it's less cumbersome.
It is. Does Rassie have the impression that for this particular occasion, a dress uniform is not in style?
I mean, it's a night house, so I think showing up in a dress uniform is perfectly all right. It's just that
you probably still spend the thousands probably like to clean all your metals and to press it and that sort of stuff.
A cape, of course. You need a cape.
Yeah, I think this would be like your what uniform is that the officers wear? Officers mess.
He needs to get it dry
Mesh dress.
cleaned, you know,
Yeah.
priority dry cleaned, starched
Like
correctly.
the miniature medals, the whole racks of them. You know, you probably have a sword as well.
Well, I can't afford to make an impression, but I will afford to not be an embarrassment. I'll spend
Very well.
$1,000 to clean up and dress up my dress uniform.
Your ribbon looks like a North African dictator.
Your ribbons have ribbons on them. Oh God, what's that guy's name that he? Oh damn it! Any other time I'd remember his name, but I can't think
You
of it
mean
now.
Gaddafi?
No. He played a Russian.
Oh, Zhukov's chief of staff from.
I can't think of the actor's name though. God damn it!
From what movie?
I don't even know the movie, but I think AP's on the right track.
Yeah, it's the one where the Russian guy like goes like this and throws
Yeah, he
his
has a
greatcoat
jacket
off,
just
and it's just
full.
full of medals.
There's so many medals.
Oh.
He was in Star Trek Discovery when it first started.
Death of Stalin?
Yes.
Yeah, I think the actor was the. I know the actor you're talking about. I know the scene as well.
Yeah, I mean it's used in so many gifs.
Yeah,
it was so well done.
It was Jason Isaacs in the
That's
Death of
it.
Stalin.
Yeah.
that's it. That's the one I was thinking of. That's Rassie, except
It's
he's
true,
not.
it's-
Except we need a short actor with guile hair.
Perfect. You all.
I think Holly probably like knocks it up a notch to white tie because white tie versus black tie isn't that different
Yes.
with women? You know?
Yes. White tie
It's
is
just
more
gloves.
fancy. Yeah.
Yeah.
You all arrive at a barge ship, and your shuttle lets you off. You are stopped at the door. Velamris, you brought a sword. Holly, Rassie, you are both offered a sword at the coat check.
Offered at the coach.
Yes. You are offered a honor blade in case you would like to duel or make pronouncements during the party.
Yeah, I'll take one.
Okay. They hand
Yes.
you over like an incredibly nice like ducal sword with like silver basket hilt rapier.
Almost makes my power sword look put to shame, but it's still a power
No,
sword.
your
so.
power sword is 1,000-year-old legendary weapon forged in the heart of a dying star. There's
That's right.
It would be funny though to turn up with like the chain sword with the classic like yellow and black hazard stripes on the blade, that sort of stuff. Like it's an industrial tool rather than a weapon.
But because of the formality, every one of those yellow and black stripes are freshly painted and full. No chips, no marring.
Holly, would you like to get an honor sword?
I think it sounds like it's the style of the time.
It does seem like a style.
Yeah. Or did she wear it like was it Wonder Woman in the when she has like the sword down the back of her?
Oh, God. No, absolutely not. No, it comes with a sash and it's clearly meant to be belted on. I think Holly's is like a spatha. It's like a short stabbing blade.
Yeah. Speaking of swords, is that a lightsaber I see in the corner behind you, James?
Yeah, that's the one I had made.
A more elegant weapon from a more civilized age.
Indeed.
There we go.
That's a really good one.
Unfortunately, it's not charged right now, so otherwise I'd light it up.
I just happened to look at it as we're talking about swords. Like,
Impressive.
wait a minute.
Most impressive.
All right, Vader, calm down.
I mean, I literally did Darth Vader as the
I know.
Emperor at the beginning.
I know.
Why didn't you do that part, Jamaican?
Impressive. Most impressive.
Yeah.
You enter into it's like a Pendragonized version of a mead feasting hall. Running most of the length of the ship is like a several 100-foot long wooden table with benches on either side, where hundreds of servants, ladies, gentlemen, squires, and very obvious knights, all of them with large like cybernetics on the back of their spines that indicate that they have some form of mind control units or some sort of cybernetic interface. You've walked into a Ren fair, essentially. Like, people are walking around with turkey legs and flagons. There's wine going around. Like, a fool wearing a jester's cap goes past you and goes, hee 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 hee, and does this, and then, like, rolls on the ground past you, and then pops up and does a cartwheel.
Someone walks up and says, "Shake my hand in character."
No, that doesn't happen. When
That
you
would be
enter,
amazing, though.
the herald announces all three of you, and like everyone turns to stop and clap politely, and is evaluating all of you. Rassie, no one says anything about you, but they say a lot about Velamris and Holly. There's no negative Rassie talk, but with Velamris, someone's like, "Oh my, I like what I'm seeing here. Quite a bit of respect for us." And one of the women is like, "My goodness. It seems as if that woman there managed to acquire quite a rare jewel of a dress at short notice." And it's clear that the two of you have made a very positive impression on your hosts, who perhaps didn't expect anything out of you.
I think for that moment, Velamris blushes slightly, but what's more prominent is the birthmark scar becomes a little bit more red.
Okay. You see that a lot of people here have various like house sigilry in the form of like a cloak clasp, and that the knights all have like actual, like their whole cloak is their house sigil. And you can see that a lot of them have some variation on the House Vandersarg colors, but the Vandersarg, like the knight cloaks, are dyed fur of a beast. And you can see in alcoves along the length of this ship that there are Imperial knights watching over the feast, like the deactivated ones. They have cloaks as well, the actual machines, made of like giant kaiju super beasts that also have the house colors dyed into them.
You said the house colors are all variations of Vandersarg. Does that indicate that these houses are like subservient?
They're all members of Vandersarg, but they have a personal heraldry that they're putting on.
Okay.
It's like like each pilot has their own like style. It'd be like having a call sign essentially.
Yeah.
You know, like one of them has a half moon and one of them has a star, something like that.
Yep.
There is one person here who is not wearing House Vandersarg colors, but it still has the beast cape. Their color is a completely white cape with a gold trim, and it has a blue like merlons of a castle wall.
I'm gonna briefly lean over to the other two and be like, I wonder who that one is.
When you say that,
significantly differently,
you see one knight in here is not wearing a cape at all. It is a familiar looking figure of someone wearing black form-fitting armor with a black mask over top of their face. They aren't eating, they aren't drinking, and they aren't talking. They're just sort of menacing up and down the hall, like moving into a circle of conversation, folding their arms and standing there. But the thing is, like, people welcome this nameless knight into the discussion. Nobody shuns them. No one treats them like they're an outsider. They're welcomed into the discussion. And then after a few minutes, they will move and walk away and go somewhere else.
Is it possible to determine whether this is like actually a person that this is their social status, or is it a case of this is like a ritual where they always have like the person in black to represent the knights that couldn't be here, and it's part of the customary thing to always have someone fill this role in the party, that sort of thing?
I think that's a lore. Let's make a lore roll on your behalf.
Yeah.
Or is it the free blade?
I'm just gonna roll. Normally, I'm not gonna spend any fate on this one. But no, I know. I don't. I do not. Okay.
I'll make that roll.
Okay.
Maybe somewhere along the way, Velamris had a chance to try to do a little bit of research about this guy because his curiosity got piqued. I'm not gonna put any fate on it though. Nope, never mind.
I'm not going to try to roll.
They're so mysterious. You have no idea who this person is, and they continue to go through the hall.
I'm gonna. I will offer like a quick little nod, hand salute gesture, sort of thing of, you know, I guess recognition, but like also salutations.
You don't realize it's universal sign of challenge in this particular.
I really hope not. That'd be hilarious on one hand, but scary on another.
So if somebody here says something snarky to Holly? Are you just going to punch him out and see if you have to fight a duel in the morning?
Me?
Yeah.
No. I'm just waving to say hello to the dude all in black. Nothing more. But if I have to duel somebody, I mean, I guess I'll have to duel somebody.
Shall we?
I was dropping a reference.
Oh.
Shall we separate and mingle?
Something. Separate and mingle? Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna go again. Velamris, I don't mean for Velamris to be this much of a smartass. A little bit, maybe. But he's gonna go stand next to the guy in black. And not mockingly, but kind of follow form. Like, so maybe if he's standing there like this, Velamris won't do that. He'll have his hands clasped like in front of him, but he'll just stand next to him and just kind of, see what he can pick up.
As you move next to him, there is a young woman. She looks like she's in her early 20s. She's wearing a very, like, finely patterned, the Sisters of Battle, like, fleur-de-lises into her outfit. But she is wearing a corset and is showing a lot of, what's it called? Decollage?
Yeah, décolletage.
Décolletage. Thank you. Thank you.
Is that a fancy word for cleavage?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
She leans in slightly towards you and says, "Oh my, you're with the Rogue Trading House, are you not?"
I am.
Now she's speaking in High Gothic.
Oh, well, in that case, I think I pick every third or fourth word. At which point I just give her the look of like, and I'm just going to stick my hand out and be like, I'm Velamris. And I'm going to speak that in Low Gothic.
I'm so sorry. I didn't realize that you were underprivileged. Are you with the Rogue Trading House?
I do represent the Darkwind Trading House, yes.
I see. You seem very interested in our friend the Freeblade here. Perhaps you'd like to hire the Black Axe?
I think he pauses, and then he's like, I'm not going to lie to you. I am very unfamiliar with many of the customs of the knights and their ilk. What does this hiring of the Black Axe mean?
Okay, so what she does is she stands directly next to you, takes you with the elbow so she can walk you around the area. Yeah, and she's leaving the Black Axe here, leaving the Freeblade here, and is giving you an exposition talk while walking you up and down the feast hall.
The one that, for the viewers that don't know anything about this sort of thing.
Is there like mosaics on the wall that she can point to as she walks past?
Yes, of course.
Like,
Yeah, you understand. I think you get the idea that, like, normally this ship is landed on the planet. Like, this is their actual feast hall, as this battle barge. And it contains several knights within it. And then you also saw that they have like a bunch of other transports with knights as well. Because they have over 60 knights. And almost all the pilots have to be here. I mean, she's explaining to you that Freeblades, some of them take very extreme oaths. This particular one, the Black Axe, seems to not speak in any way. We take it upon ourselves as the hosts of these individuals to communicate on their behalf. If you're a rogue trader, or you personally, as you seem to be a man of wealth and means, now she's saying that to you, but you're also reading the body language that you don't speak High Gothic, so she's just gassing you up.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you're probably the only people in this room that are speaking in Low Gothic right now.
Yeah,
even the servants are like,
down to
my lord, perhaps I can find you a fine brandy or cider in the back.
And you understand nothing.
Yeah.
Try these canapes, she says as she goes past the tray. Poor souls like this need weapons, repairs, ammunition, technical support, that sort of thing. And they take that as payment for their services. Did you, and she puts a hand on your hand in the, now in the elbow lock and says, did you need the services of an Imperial Knight? Perhaps even a whole Knight house? House Vandensarg is available for duties in the next several months.
This is good information to have, and I thank you for your patience and time explaining all of this to me. As I said, I was very new to this sort of thing. I don't think we have any need now, but knowing that you're available is good information for me to pass along to the rogue trader. For he does, from time to time, as I'm sure you can imagine, venture off beyond the boundaries of the Imperium and may encounter all sorts of terrors and wonders.
She just gives you an eyebrow raise and like a faint smile and a nod.
It is very clear that Velamris may be trying to, talk up things, but also is not going to get anywhere because he's definitely socially outclassed.
She stops you in front of a particular knight and she says, well, I suspect that a man as traveled as yourself may have seen a knight before, but perhaps you've never seen one like this. And she gestures to like a red painted Imperial Knight Valiant, the Dominus class, and says, this is my brother's machine, the Faultless Spear. Now, you've seen a bunch of them with capes so far. The cape of this one is actually fucking enormous. Like, it fully is on the level of Ring Wraith from Lord of the Rings. Like, easily, its volume is several times more than it would need to be to encompass this thing. The beast that was killed to make this cape would have had to have been several times the size of an Imperial Knight.
That is impressive. And he realizes he may have said that, like, underselling it without meaning to, but then he's just like, he has a hard time, like, fathoming a lot of this, like, putting it into perspective that he would understand. So this to him is very clearly very impressive, but he doesn't know how to convey it in such an appropriate way for her to understand where he's coming from.
She's gesturing to the massive harpoon gun on it and says, mine own brother took down the beast by himself using only this harpoon.
What a truly massive beast this must have been. And only with the harpoon.
A legendary battle.
It must have been.
I want to cut to Rassie.
Sure.
What are you doing during this?
He feels like he still hasn't gotten used to feeling like he's wandering into social circles that he doesn't have any idea what to do, and he knows that he didn't make the kind of impression that the others did, and he's hoping that means that he's not going to draw a bunch of attention he can't handle. But I think he's gonna take the opportunity to be closer to some of the knights themselves and look at the machines and sort of just like in awe of the destructive power that he can get this close to.
I would like you to make an intuition roll, and if you have the surrounding specialization, I'll give you advantage.
I don't. I just have people. I'll take it.
You are speaking with these knights, you know, in general, you're treated as someone who is socially superior to servants, but definitely not on the same level as a knight. No one is treating you impolitely. In fact, you're treated with perfect politeness, but socially, there's like an expectation that you might speak last and only when addressed. With that said, as you're transiting around, you attract the attention of one of the knights who sort of starts as you walk near him, and he says, I believe you might be the man that I've been looking for. Excuse me. I saw that your companion does not speak our language. Do you?
I do.
Fantastic. He walks over. He looks like he's in pain as he walks over to you, and he reaches out to give you a handshake and clasps you on the shoulder.
Yeah, I'll certainly return the handshake, and he'll say, I hope that if you were searching for me, that if there's something that I might be able to do.
I've been looking for a local companion, a good friend. I try to find one on every planet that I visit. You seem like a boon companion and drinking buddy, and I must say you are probably not at all accustomed to our particular lifestyle. Tell me, Have you had any of this Crueltus porcine? It makes an excellent ham hock. We have it with beans and navy bean stew, that sort of thing. We use it as a sort of appetizer before some of the more rich meals. I would suspect someone in a uniform like yours might be a little bit more used to low-quality foods like pork starch. But here you will only be served the finest cuisine House Van den Sark has to offer. You're a guest! And he goes shoulder to shoulder with you and brings you over to the table. He's like, please sit, eat with me. What was your name, noble warrior?
I am retired Lieutenant Rassie van Lucht.
Ah, I didn't know one could retire. Certainly one does not retire from a knighthood.
It's certainly a rare occurrence in the Guard.
You must be a rare individual. Quite rare, I think.
The Emperor has seemed to ensure that I've had an interesting time.
Yes, the Emperor. I see.
But no, I have been to a number of worlds. I've made a number of drops. I have never seen a knight before. Since coming to Titanslair, I have been nothing but constantly impressed at the difference in firepower that is available.
Titanslair. Titanslair is one thing, but let me tell you, this Mechanicus hellhole, I have nothing bad to say about it, but it has nothing to do with the tempestuous storms of Malir, a grand planet you must come visit sometime. Malir, now that is a night world for certain. I remember the first time I observed the great storms off the coast at our ancestral home. They still fill, even in a night, fill you with terror. Walls of water, great beasts of the ocean, able to move on land with the flooding. Yes.
I think in order to try to continue this friendly thing, like Rassie shares an experience of like doing a high orbit grav chute insertion through the eye of a hurricane.
This knight calls over another knight. Now, you've seen variations in the Van den Sark capes so far. The person who comes over to speak with you doesn't have a variation on their cape. They just sit down on the opposite side of the table from you and say, I understand you are a former Imperial commander.
I am.
My name is Ansgara. I am the Imperial Commander of Malir and the leader of House Van den Sark. I welcome you, and I welcome your rogue trader's business. Tell me, Lieutenant, have you ever considered becoming a knight?
There are a lot of things that until a few years ago that have never entered my mind as possibilities, but now I have to admit it is a curiosity I've had. I wonder what the experience is like.
So the gentleman who drew you into this conversation sitting next to you says, I'm telling you, Lord Ansara, this individual, there's more to him than he seems. And Ansara is like, yes. Well, if you say it, it must be so. Ansara, I think that while he may not have the perfect refinement we're looking for, certainly with a few years, we could knock off some of the rust. Perhaps he could marry into the family. I think we have just the machine for someone of his talents. We'd have to double-check his genetics, of course. Would you mind if I took a blood sample, Lieutenant?
No, I don't mind at all.
Ansgara says, thank you so much. I apologize. My cousin is being very informal with you, but yes, I would like to tentatively offer you a place in House Vanderstar. We will have a servant come out here, and like someone comes out with like a very like ritualized purple pillow with golden tassels and like a steel needle and a little like plastic like blood sample tray, and they like prick your finger and push it into there, and like the servant says like, "Thank you, my lord. My apologies for the pain to you. Please allow me to administer this bandage."
He looks real. He looks so confused. He's probably never seen a bandage before. I'm sorry.
Hold on. You
I-
were in the military. You've definitely seen a bandage before.
But he's been a guardsman, so like it's probably all just like
You've definitely
tourniquets
seen
and
people
saws.
losing limbs and then had to fucking
You've
tie
never
something
seen
off.
a Band-Aid
Never
with
seen a-
Warhammer 40K.
Yeah,
Hello
you've definitely
Kitty.
seen. You don't act like this is super unique. Now, it probably doesn't have gold foil like this one does, but the servant backs away. My apologies, my lord. Angsara says, "Itael, your sense of these things is as perfect as it always is, and I'm so glad that you could catch up with us. We were fortunate that we needed to delay landing until Johanater got here, but yes. Rassie, there's something about you. I sense it from you. If you'll excuse me, I'm required elsewhere for the feast, but I hope that we might speak further throughout the night."
It was a pleasure to meet you, Lord Enzgar.
Please. Just Angsara. Between governors.
As you wish.
So the man whose name you only know of as Itael stays with you and continues talking with you for a time. Holly?
Yeah, I mean, he's my social security net now. I'm being very friendly with him, and he's trying very hard to not like. He's waiting for him to cross certain like conversational boundaries before he engages in them because he doesn't want to be rude or say something out of place. But he's enjoying this conversation.
Holly, what are you doing?
Yeah. So this might seem unusual, but I'm going to try to do something nice for Velamris.
Oh my god!
Knowing that he's expressing this interest now, and like he's got an interest in the knights and having a squire, etc.
How much has Holly been drinking already?
While Holly's talking to people, because obviously like people notice her and they notice Velamris because of their attire, but
Yes.
if people are talking about Velamris near her, she's going to basically throw in some comments about how obviously she recruited him into the Rogue Traders service, or she's his manager. But as a former Sister Famulus, she had an opportunity to sort of see the genetics of everybody involved when they first entered the unit, and despite his very humble beginnings, he has some very impressive genetics. Things that like less skilled geneticists would miss. But those of us that have had the specialized training of the Order Famulus recognize like the signs of greatness in it, and that he all the man needs is an education and an opportunity to sort of show for his genes to show through.
Okay. I'm
Getting
gonna
back to
ask
her
for-
roots.
I'm gonna ask for a -30 on a deception test.
There is no deception skill.
Their rapport deception is a
Rapport
special
deception. Okay,
version.
cool. All right, cool. All right, so we're going to start with my terrible 30 first. What time is it? We're getting towards the end, so I can spend more fate points. So let's do this.
Yes,
four
please
test.
spend your fate points talking me up.
Roll this one naturally first.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so that I will then spend a fate point to give myself the success there, which gives me the bonus SL
Okay,
on,
you have
on
a
the following
+1.
skill. Yeah, plus I've also got my attire, giving one more as well. Assuming I'm paid for like best quality or
Yep. Yeah.
ornamental.
For 10 grand, I hope it's best quality.
Then it was rapport deception, wasn't it?
Deception, yes.
Okay, so plus 2 SL, -30. Spend my point for advantage. Hey!
A 10 turns into a 1.
Wow!
Unbelievable.
Oh my god.
Holly,
Nice.
you try to remain on the outskirts of conversation, dropping in stuff about Velamris's genetics. These people are very familiar with the Ordo Famulus, right? Like they are all creations of the Famulus, very
Yes.
carefully lined, and they would love to know more about Velamris's genotyping. Now that you're talking him up, and you're talking about like, oh, a lesser skilled geneticist might not see it. All of a sudden, you are the only thing anybody is talking about. And at this proclamation, the woman who is escorting Velamris around, hearing about how strong his genetic code is, blushes slightly and like bumps into you a little bit more. It's just laughing a little bit more. She's definitely way into you, despite the fact that you talk like a crude moron. She's like, we could polish this. This is a diamond in a rough.
So she's starting to flirt with him, but in a much
She
more
was
highbrow way
already
than
flirting with you.
Yeah.
Now it's like,
now Velamris might notice it.
now we need to be looking at Jeanette like before.
Jesus, James.
You can't polish a turd, but you can roll it in glitter. Incredible. What a dunk. What a fucking dunk.
I gotta remember that line. I'm
We're
sure I'm
done.
gonna find
That's
a way
it.
to
We're
use
done
that
for the
line.
night. Take 60 XP. Take 60 XP.
How much? 60?
Yeah, 60. We're done. We're done.
On that note, all right, 60.
Oh man.
AP,
Yes.
are you going to at some point look at acquiring the Imperium Maledictum Macarian Requisition Guide?
If you're asking me to, I guess I should send myself an email to pick it up tomorrow.
Only because it does have some new talents in it as well.
Okay.
Nice.
So, Imperium Maledictum, drive-through RPG, and then what's it called?
The Macarian Acquisition Guide. It's pretty much a book of gear. It's just like
Sure.
it's just like an equipment book, but it's got there is one talent in the back I'm interested in, which is Tome Keeper.
And that's what you're about to take.
I don't need it straight away because Tome Keeper basically it procs after each mission. It does nothing until end of each mission. Effectively, at the end of each mission, you get to acquire a book for free from the list of books in the thing, as long as they're up to scarce rating.
I authorize taking of that.
How much XP is a short-term goal?
You get 50
50.
for a short term.
Okay. My short-term goal, I ended up changing it between sessions because I think I put
I
a
need to
long-term
change
goal
mine
in
too.
there to deal with the asteroids. So I changed it to get the Rogue Trader into business and system.
Well, I also had to establish a position of power in Titanslair. I don't know what we've done today with 11 successes on working with what's his face.
Agreed.
Okay.
Brelto Cogsworth.
Yeah.
Administrator Brelto Cogsworth.
I need to do a new short-term goal.
Yeah, I need a new one too.
Long-term goal still the Gellerfield.
My long-term is still to finish remaking
Your
something
regiment?
in the image of to remake a regiment.
Any post-episode discussion?
I personally am glad that I managed to pull off something of a scheme by getting the, what do we call it? Physical salvation service put into place.
uh,
And thank you guys for helping me get there because I couldn't have done it without you. Other than that, I'm curious to see where this whole bullshit genetic code thing is going to go.
That'd be amazing if you get an offer for marriage, or at least they try to test your genetics.
That would be very interesting. I'm also curious if in character everything that Holly was saying was accurate, or if she was just making that shit up.
No,
Well,
she's bringing it up. She's bringing it up for sure. But
Yeah,
the thing is, like,
Because
never-
now I'm
because-
curious to know what is Velamris' genetic
she
code
knows
got.
she knows they'll probably test you, but it's
Yeah.
about saying like, only the sort of families that would be recruited by a rogue trader would be able to see the sorts of the signs. Everyone else it looks mundane, but
Yeah. Yeah, you see this dip right here? What that really means is
Rassie is in a familiar place of being way over his head. Especially being like, okay, like he'd ask questions about the Mechanicus offer, and now he's getting one from Vandensarg. Tentative. I mean, waiting for his DNA test, but and then he was thinking like there's something about you, and he curbed the urge to respond with many people dislike me. Like
The tail didn't seem to dislike you.
In fact, you seem to be intrigued by something in your blood.
Can I add a tail as a contact, or is his enthusiasm disingenuous?
Sure. Absolutely. Okay. You know what? You can add him at a +1.
Oh, that just made me think of what my short-term goal is, and it might be to let's say close the deal with what's her name?
What are you gonna do if Rassie becomes I don't mean an Imperial Knight, but joins a Knight House and you don't? What if he gets officially knighted and Velamris doesn't?
Well, so the difference here though is Velamris wants to be a knight in the old school sense, not with these Titan war machines. Yeah. So if Rassie ends up becoming part of the Knight Order, whatever, in that regard, and Velamris doesn't, he's still like going to go on and try to attempt to create his own knighthood agency, organization, whatever you want to call it.
He's going to become a runt.
Yeah. He's so like he wants to. His idea of a knight isn't necessarily this battle tech looking knight thing. It's more about the ideas of chivalry and whatnot or whatever.
Yeah.
So if Rassie gets in there, then that's cool. If Velamris doesn't, then okay, I still keep pressing forward to my goal.
Yeah, Rassie has no idea what the fuck is going on. He just appreciates that a tail is very friendly.
Yeah. And Velamris is not looking to, like, he has nothing against Vandensarg and everything else, but this is not the kind of knight he wants to be. Like, this is really freaking awesome because they have some really big friggin' guns and they can do an awful lot of damage, but that's not the kind of knight that he wants to be.
Okay.
Holly doesn't want to be a knight.
Okay.
Period.
I think she wants to be rich and powerful, but yeah.
She wants to make other people's lives miserable because they've wronged her. That's what she wants.
Just you.
No, it's not just me. There's a lot of people that have wronged her.
She doesn't want to be a knight. She wants to be the person who can afford to easily hire knights.
But yeah, I think I'm going to change my short-term goal to see if I can close the deal with... I never got her name, by the way.
I know.
Do I get to get her name?
Maybe you should ask.
Okay. What is your name?
Great. We'll find out next episode.
I also was not... I wasn't expecting this Imperial Commander governorship stuff to keep coming up, and Rassie was also kind of hoping that he wasn't gonna have to do that, which involves which kind of involves sort of ignoring the fact that he has a planet that he hasn't been to. That's been
the
conquered.
whole planet isn't yours. You have a retirement estate on the planet.
Yeah. He's got a place that
you have a butler who's waiting for you with a small staff.
I just picture every morning there's a staff call outside. They're all lined up. Just no, okay, he's not here. We're all right. Back in the house. Back to work. Back to maintaining the property.
I mean, we've all seen Downton Abbey with the Downtons. They live in the house.
Yeah.
I gotta figure out how to add these contacts on my sheet now.
All right. Are we good for next week?
Should be.
Yep.
I think so.
I'll see you then.
Once again next week, it'll be a hard stop for me at the end.
It'll be a 2-hour episode, which means it only gets
no. Because last time I could have got the full time. It just was easier to not.
Stop. Very well.
Yeah, but after that, daylight saving will change here as well, and I will no longer have constraints on Mondays.
Very well. Well, audience, you're about to experience what a hard stop is like.